Still new to adventure riding, I decided to jump on a ride training day with Mal Dalton from Old Man Speed Adventures. Kicking things off in Boonah, it was always going to be an early start for me, a problem as I am not a morning person. But I was committed to becoming a better rider, so it was up at 4:30 a.m, on the bike at 5:20 a.m, and off to Boonah. Once there, I got to meet the other riders, and it was time for Mal's first lesson on correct body positioning when riding an adventure bike. With that info down, the only thing left to do was to hit the road and go find some dirt. It wasn't long before we were rolling through the countryside outside of Boonah, the undulating gravel roads twisting and turning beneath our wheels. It was a great morning for it, and we obviously weren't the only people who thought so. With our body positioning correct for heading in a straight line on a gravel road, it was time for a lesson on cornering, because there's nothing scarier than hitting the marbles in the middle of a bend. A few quick tips and it was time for a steep hill climb to the lookout at the top of Waterfall Creek Road. The climb had some pretty puckering parts, but it was on the downhill that things really got exciting. Despite the smart money being on my KLR being the first to take a dirt nap, it was in fact our Africa twin rider who went down. Unfortunately, he punctured the coolant reservoir on the big bike, and after a hair-raising coast down the rest of the hill, he was forced to retire and wait for a truck to come pick him up. After making sure he had water, food and phone reception, we continued on. Our third lesson for the day was on emergency braking on gravel and a chat about ABS and how that works, or doesn't work, in the dirt. From there it was back on the road and onto yet another amazing lookout with 360 views of the Scenic Rim. It really is a beautiful part of the country. We were supposed to have been hit by a cyclone, but fortunately the wind had changed, leaving us with a beautiful, clear and hot day. Luckily, Mal had something special lined up for lunch. We ran back down into the valley to Karila Waterfall for a bite to eat, a rest and a much needed cooling swim. The tranquil beauty of the spot was really something to behold. Feeling refueled and recharged, it was time to continue. We had a beautiful run around Karila National Park before heading north again towards Lake Mugara and heading left up Spices Gap Road for what I soon learnt would be the hardest challenge of the day, the hill climb up to Governor's Chair. With the day being so long, I was getting quite tired, but kept repeating Mal's words in my head and doubled down on making it to the top. I'm not gonna lie, I had a few near spills and heard language coming out of my mouth that I'd never heard before. It was well worth it, however, as the Governor's Chair would have some of the most amazing views I've ever seen. Here the day's events ended and the group split, heading home on their own routes. For me, it was quite the ride back to the Gold Coast, but not before scrabbling my way back down the mountain. Now this is not a sponsored video or review. I booked and paid full price the same as everyone else. That said, I highly recommend a ride training day with Mal from Old Man Speed Adventures. Not only will we be given specific training relevant to the various terrains we were about to traverse, Mal also took the time to follow along behind each of us, giving personalised recommendations and advice to make sure we became better and safer riders. I had an absolute blast and I can't wait to get out there again on my next adventure. After I get some new tyres, of course. So until next time, get out there and live an adventurous life.